Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another online conference from the Sustainable Business and Circular Economy series organized by the Nordic Chamber of Commerce in the Czech Republic in cooperation with the CIRA Advisory, Confederation of Industry and Transport, and also Association of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises and Crafts. And I cannot forget also the embassies of Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, and Iceland as the partners. This time, we will focus on responsible production and consumption, which means the whole cradle to grave approach. I'm Michala Hergetová, and I'll be host of this workshop. As we all know, the number of people at this planet is increasing and is supposed to reach 9 billion by 2050. But the planet is not growing anywhere, and we have very limited resources. That means we have to change our behavior. We have to switch from linear to circular economy that is source efficient and carbon neutral. Most probably, taxation or other measures will have to be used to internalize external costs and to motivate us to change our behavior. That is also why the Circular Economy Plan 2.0 was published by the European Commission as a cornerstone of the European Green Deal. But as you know, the aim of this workshop is not only to inform, but mainly to hear the voice of businesses, because it's them on whom the success of the transition depends. And that is also why I would like to ask Milan Chromík, member of the board of the Czech Confederation of Industry and Transport, for the opening speech. Milan, welcome. We cannot hear you because your microphone is not
Sorry.
That's a very usual problem at an all-time
Okay, I'm sorry for that.
Now we can hear. Perfect.
Hi, Michala. Thank you very much for the word, for the floor. I would like to thank the organizers really much for organizing this event, because we perceive at the Confederation of Industry and Trade Circular Economy as a really important topic. And let me welcome you as well today, ladies and gentlemen, at this conference. I would like to shortly, maybe at the beginning, introduce the Confederation of Industry. We are a leading business and lobbying organization in the Czech Republic, and we are providing voice for employers at the national, but also at in the international level, mainly in Brussels, where we have our branch as well. Our main goal is to promote better conditions in business. That means transferring basically anxiety and let's say interests of the Czech business at the Czech government, but also, as I said, in the European Union. And it also has to be of the benefit to the whole country. We act as an umbrella for 32 associations. We also have 150 direct members, and in total, we unite approximately 11,000 employers or 11,000 companies in the Czech Republic. Why circular economy? We have launched the discussion in 2016 because we perceived it as a very important topic a couple of years ago. And when we were talking to the Ministry of Environment, they said, okay, but we would like to promote that. Let's change the way we treat it in the Czech Republic. But we need also a voice of the business to support us. So what we did in the Confederation of Industry, we launched the discussion. We changed basically our approach from pure waste approach to circular economy approach. We have reorganized our internal structure, and we are very closely looking at this problematics, and we are promoting it very much. As you might know, probably, we were the ones that were preparing or jointly preparing with the Ministry of Environment the whole legislation of circular economy, starting with the Waste Act that has been approved by the end of 2020. And we are now preparing the decrees that are linked to this Waste Act. So this is the first milestone or cornerstone that we have achieved a couple of months ago. And of course, we will closely look at it in the future, because there is still some job to be done. So I would like to thank you for your interest in this problematics. I'm really happy to have this initial speech. and I wish you all the best during the conference. And maybe I would like to transfer the word again to Michaela.
Thank you, Milan. Thank you for promoting the circular economy in the Czech Republic. I think we have a lot of work to do here. Yeah. And as we are here, thanks to the Nordic countries that are way ahead of us when it comes to sustainability as such, I'm very happy to give the virtual stage also to Dagmar Plevaceva, the Vice President of NORCEM, the Nordic Chamber of Commerce in the Czech Republic. Dagmar, welcome. The stage is yours.
Good morning, Michael. Thank you very much. I make it short, hopefully. Thank you also, Mr. Chromik, for the nice words. I'm happy for the Nordic Chamber. We are able again to organize this already fourth conference in our series of sustainability. And you know all, meanwhile, for us as Nordic Chamber, with our Nordic background, the sustainability a very crucial point and very crucial focus also for our member companies. And therefore, we are happy to be able to organize this. And our second topic and our second reason to be is to be a platform for businesses, for new ideas, for sharing best practices, enhancing businesses and generate maybe new business ideas and innovations. And I think sustainability is exactly what our member companies can contribute to the society, what the society can maybe share with our member companies. And I'm happy to have so many good speakers again on this so important topic as sustainable production and consumption is a huge topic. We have many good subtitles and subtopics covered today, and I'm happy to see that it will be at least as such success like the 3 conferences before, and many companies can and many other institutions can take something out of it and make the world around us a bit more sustainable. Thank you very much and enjoy the conference.
And I thank you, Dagmar. Thank you for inviting all those interesting guests. And obviously, again, all the viewers had a chance to ask our guests during the conference. So don't hesitate to do that. You just need Slido. You can use hashtag NORCEMRPC, meaning abbreviation for responsible production and consumption. So NORCEM RPC, and you'll get to our event where you can ask a question, and I'll be more than happy to ask our guests for their answer. There are many statistics showing how do we waste resources. E.g., in the US, some 40% grocery is never sold and also is being thrown away, or even though we have recycling bins and we are quite efficient in disposing the waste accordingly, in reality, only 9% of plastic waste is recycled, as found in a recent study by journal Science Advances. And I could continue, but I leave that up to someone more professional, as we have Jana Babikova from CERA Advisory here to open the topic. Jana, so what can we do to improve our behavior? What should be done or what needs to be done? Welcome. I cannot see Jana, so probably we have some troubles with the connection. Jana, can you hear me? I'm just trying if we can hear each other. Your microphone is muted. So if you can hear me now.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome here. Welcome here. I was just talking about the waste we are producing and how we waste our resources, and that there's a lots and lots of work to be done to improve our behavior and to move from linear to circular economy. And circular economy is exactly what you focus on. So now please give us the advices. What has to be done?
So for circular economy, it is basically a change in the whole system of production and consumption. What we are talking here today. It is basically everything from product design into the materials that we are going to be using, basically it's the change of the whole system so that we produce things that could be repaired, and from materials that could be further recycled, because not every material is easily recycled, and also there's a huge problem of not recycling even the materials that are being used. And could I maybe share the presentation that I
Definitely. If you have it, you can just share it on your screen, and then make it full screen so that we can see it properly. So first share, and then
sure.
screen.
Okay, so
yes, we can see it now. Perfect.
You can see it, great. Okay, so basically this is the infographics of the circular economy loop, and you can see what everything comes into the circular economy. It's the raw materials, it's the design, it's the production, it's also the distribution and the whole chain of the production process, and then it's also the consumption, and then further collection from the consumers and recycling of the materials. Is a change from the current system, which basically just uses materials, produces, distributes, then some people consume the products, and then everything goes to waste. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with this. Okay, here's the why of the circular economy and why we should basically change to this system. As I was saying, annually we use 92 billion tons of raw materials in the world, and this number is only rising every year. And especially this year with the pandemic and with all the changes happening in the world, we saw more than 100% rise in the annual price of plastic and also other materials like metal. And now we're hearing everywhere about the shortages of chips, and it's going to have huge impacts on computer production, automobile production, etc., etc. And what is interesting is that the whole world is just 9% circular, while the circular economy could solve the problem of the shortage of materials and things like that. So this is like why we should really be focusing on circular economy. And then there is also the business perspective, basically. When, for example, 52% of Czechs say that filter activities of companies are a very important factor in their shopping decisions, and 1/3 of Czech CEOs have already taken actions in decreasing their company's CO2 emissions, and also like circular economy is a huge factor in both these issues. And according to statistics, already 4 million work positions have been created in the EU thanks to circular economy practices. So it really has also the business potential and the environmental benefits to it. There's something about our organization. We are a consulting and advisory firm that specializes in circular economy across all industries and sectors. We are a sister organization of the Institute of the Circular Economy, which was the first organization that began talking about this topic in the Czech Republic. And what we're focused on is advisory and strategic in the production. Also, we do corporate training, events, networking, some research and analysis, especially in the legislative frameworks. And we also do advisory in PR and communication, especially when it comes to strategies and in communicating sustainable activities of companies, as there's a huge problem of greenwashing at the moment. So we're helping companies avoid this. Here are some ideas how company can begin with the circular economy, because for a lot of them, at the beginning, it sounds really scary that they should change the whole, basically the process. But there are really easy ways to begin. For example, it's the circular offices, where you can do the audit of how your office works, where you get resources like coffee, energy, how you manage your water consumption, etc. Then there's events and networking, where you can meet like-minded people and learn from them, learn from your projects. It's also what we are doing here today, where we're going to learn about amazing projects from all other speakers. And you can also do some training and webinars for your own employees, so that they can learn more about circular economy and come up with their own ideas and their own projects. Here are already some companies that are working with us and are on their circular journey. And that is all. Thank you.
Jana Babiková presented what can be done, and that every one of us can start we can start with ourselves, which is obvious, and not all of us is doing that. So let's get some more inspiration now where to start, because we are going to visit a state of green, where we'll get the inspiration from a state, from a country that is really, as I've already said, way ahead of us when it comes to sustainability and circulation as such. So when I speak about sustainability, for example, in Denmark, only 3% of waste ends on a landfill, and 70% of waste is recycled and reused as a raw material for production or as a nutrition for agriculture, or probably energy source. And as the mission of the State of Green is to connect, inspire, and share. And I'm happy to have the chance to get inspired by our first guest speaker, because now we were only opening the topic, who is Charlotte Gyde, Head of Partnerships at State of Green. Charlotte, welcome, and please inspire us.
Thank you so much, Michaela, and thank you for that kind of introduction. I will do what I can to inspire you today. So I just have some slides. Can you see them now?
Yes, perfectly.
Perfect. Okay. So again, thank you for the introduction. And as said, I will just give a short presentation of Denmark, our green transition, because that's what we are also focusing on when we talk about the circular economy, that it's part of a larger green transition that we are facing, not only in Denmark, but also across Europe and the world. So how can circular economy also talk into this green transition that we're seeing? As said, my name is Charlotte Gyde, and I'm heading our partnerships in State of Green. So just shortly to begin with, what is State of Green? State of Green is a so-called public-private partnership, and we work to promote Danish green solutions to international stakeholders. So hopefully also the people on this call, as you can see, and being the midst of public and private, somewhere in between, that's where we are located. And the reason why that's also important when we talk about the green transition is, at least from the Danish perspective, an important part of our green journey so far is also the very close ties and collaboration between the public sector, the public legislators, and the private sector and solution providers. So those close ties is also how our organization is built. I'm not going to go too much into this because we want to talk about the solutions I'm going to show, but this is just so you understand what it means that we have the Danish government and business organizations in our board of directors. And then we have some of the key players in Denmark providing the solutions in the green transition. You might have heard of some of them. And they are also, of course, working within the fields of circular economy, because circular economy is very broad theme and a broad scope. So it's both in the production lines, it's in waste handling, it's how we also get the consumers to make more circular choices. So it's definitely also a trend that's cross-cutting the partners that we're working with in State of Green. And I would just advise you all to, if you want to learn more about solutions that we have in Denmark, we have a stateofgreen.com, which is a one-point entry for both the Danish companies working within the field, but also the many cases and solutions where they have shown how they work within the green sectors. But enough about State of Green. I'm just gonna give you a short story of where this actually all started in Denmark, because of course we see us as one of the front runners when we talk about the green transition, but it has not always been like this. It started back in the 1970s, where Denmark, like the rest of the world, was hit by the oil crisis, but Denmark was hit quite hard because we were 99% dependent on imported energy, including oil. So it hit our economy and socioeconomics frames quite hard. So the legislators, the society and government decided we need to look at alternative fuels, and not only because of climate and the environment, that wasn't really the driving force, but just as much because we wanted to have a more robust economy and energy system where we will not be hit by a crisis like we saw in the 70s. And back then, as you can see, we have some numbers. We have only 2% of renewable in our mix, so we were definitely not the front runners back then. And then you're going to see that these numbers are going to change a bit when we jump forward. But what just to sum it all up in one slide, because I don't have that much time, it's basically that in Denmark we've been able to, since the 1970s, and this is the 1990 benchmark that you're also using in the international frameworks, is that we have been able to decouple our economy since the 1970s. So through legislative measures, setting ambitious targets, introducing energy efficiency standards, the build out of also especially wind energy, having a different heating system and getting a district heating system. And then, as you can also see, having a more efficient water system. What we've been able to do here, you can see, is that our GDP has grown, while at the same time our energy consumption has been stable and more or less the same. And our water consumption and CO2 emissions has actually been decreasing. So that we in Denmark, and this is also the case in many other countries, but the fact that you're able to create a growth that is green is key to make the green transition successful, and also to make sure that other jumps on board this train, that it's not the expensive choice, it's not the hassle to make a green choice. It's actually something that makes sense when you look at the numbers, at least. And today, in 2019, these numbers are from, we have over 30% of renewable energy in our energy mix. And a big part of that is biomass in our heating system. I said we have a lot of wind energy in our electricity system, both in offshore wind and especially also onshore wind. We do have some sun, not a lot in Denmark, but the sun that we do have, we take advantage of. And then, as you also can see, we actually also have waste as part of our energy mix. So I'm going to tell a bit more about that, but what it definitely means is that we are using the waste as a resource, and I think that is key in this. And then when looking forward, what we are aiming to do is that we want to have, of course, more renewables. And in 2030, we want to, Denmark has set a target to reduce our CO2 emissions by 70% since the 90s. And that is, of course, also ambitious, but also the fact is that we don't have all the solutions to reach this target yet. So we are looking a lot into climate plans in Denmark right now. How do we reach the target? What needs to be done? And also international collaborations. How can we learn from each other in order to also reduce the CO2 emissions in Denmark even further? Then you can also see that we in 2030 aim to have increased our water savings, but also importantly, we aim to have 60% of our household waste recycled in 2030. So that's not about total waste, but of the household waste. Yeah, and then 2050, even further down the road, Denmark aims to be a fossil-free society. Put an end to our oil and gas extraction and the use of it. We want to produce more renewable energy than we consume in Denmark, so we can also export it to our neighbors. Then what is going to be the focus for the next many years is how we decarbonize the agricultural sector, the transportation sector, and our buildings, because these are the sectors that we have not yet decarbonized. So we have come a long way in Denmark. We have introduced a lot of green solutions, but there's a lot of energy, water resources still used in these sectors. And then we want to move towards a circular economy. And as also, I think it was Jana who said this, that it's not only a plan you just implement, it's actually an entire paradigm shift in our society. It's going to affect all of society, that we want to have a circular economy instead of linear economy. So now deep diving just shortly into the circular economy, if I still have time, or otherwise, Michaela, I hope you will interrupt me. Yeah,
you still have time. We are fine.
Good. So when talking about circular economy in Denmark, at least, we see them where we have some different areas that we're talking about this. Of course, the whole waste sector is a big part of us talking about circular economy in Denmark, both in terms of waste prevention, waste incineration, because as you saw, a bit under 10% of our energy, of renewable energies, actually come from incinerating waste, and then taking that energy into both producing heating and electricity. It's also about recycling, reuse, upcycling, and then also industrial resource efficiency and in the industrial symbiosis thinking, which I'm also going to talk a bit more about. But this is what we are aiming to do, and what this event is also going to be about, moving from a linear to a circular economy. And this is what we are trying to explain in a very simple way. But as you can see in the linear economy, it's much about thinking you have a life cycle, and then the end of life cycle, that's the product has ended its life, basically. Then moving towards the recycling economy, when you're thinking more about can products be used again, and thinking about can we use them in maybe other value chains. And then lastly, circular economy, which is how can we avoid even producing waste in the end, and prolonging the lifespans of the different products and elements that we use in our society. As you already said, Michaela, approximately 70% of our waste in Denmark is actually already recycled, which is really good. But also, just to be honest, Denmark is also one of the countries in the EU producing the most waste per capita. So although we do recycle a lot, we also have a responsibility because we also produce a lot of waste. As you can also see, a big part of it is also going to incineration. So the waste that is not being recycled, we incinerate this and then produce electricity and heat for our heating system and electricity system, of course. And then only 3% ends up in the landfill. And of course, we have the 1%, as in most waste trends in Europe is that special treatment, dangerous, hazardous, and so on that you cannot do any of the other elements with. Yeah. In Denmark, we have I talked a bit about it before, but we have in 2020 introduced a new plan. It's in Danish here, as you can see, but it's the climate plan for a green waste sector and circular economy. And that was also the result of a climate partnership we have in Denmark, one of 13 climate partnerships where the Danish government set down the private sector, invited the private sector to come with their recommendations on how we could reduce CO2. So the private sector has actually contributed to this legislation on the climate plan for the green waste sector. And some of the plans, as you can see here, is that it aims to be climate neutral in 2030. We want to have a 30% reduction in our waste quantity. And then we want to increase the recycling and also just the handling of plastic waste, making sure that it's sorted out from our incineration and used more. Yeah, so that's just some of the areas. The last slide I have here is also that a big part of the waste handling in Denmark comes out to the citizens. So we want to recycle more and we want to reuse more. And to do that, we need to make sure our waste is sorted. So this is in Danish. As you can see, all the names of the different fractions. We are going to have 10 different fractions in Danish. But I'm actually pretty sure that most of you have an idea of what they mean because they have very easy, understandable icons. And I think that's also an important element because it needs to be very understandable and easy for the citizens to sort their waste. If it's too complicated and they are afraid of doing it wrong, then there's a risk that they won't do it at all. But this is a new plan for Denmark in order to make it easier for citizens to sort their waste, and therefore the waste fractions are at the citizens' houses. So I live in an apartment in Copenhagen, and in our backyard we have these that there's going to be these 10 different bins that we are going to sort our waste in. So that's also a way of including the citizens in sorting the waste. So that was actually all from me, and for all of you who want to deep dive more into how we understand circular economy in Denmark, but also different cases and solutions, I would advise you to go and have a look at our white paper on circular economy, where you can see solutions both from waste, from industry, from buildings to across the different value chains. So that was all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. We have some time for questions, luckily, which is great because you've started with describing what the state is green, state for, and it's a public-private partnership. What is the role of the public part, and what's the one for the private part?
Thank you, and great question. So we as an organization, we are basically a branding organization, a promotion organization. But when we talk about the public and private part, both in terms of the green transition and the circular economy, is of course the interplay, but that the public part and legislation part, they set ambitious targets, first of all, but also very importantly, long-term targets, so that the private sector and investment communities, they have time to develop the technologies and solutions necessary, but also that in Denmark, at least, we are going to be safe that these targets are not going to change, although we might get a new government, because the targets in Denmark, 8 out of 9 of the parties are behind it. So it's going to keep being the same plans. So long-term, stable legislations, that's ambitious. That's the public role. And the private sector role is, of course, develop the technologies, develop solutions, implement the solutions, and very importantly also develop the innovations, because that's where the private sector can contribute very actively to circular transition as well.
I think that's very, very important. The long-term targets that are supported by the wide range of politicians, not only from the leading party right now. That's a great thinking, which we miss here, unluckily, even though probably when it comes to sustainability, it will be changing, hopefully. Where to start? You had the oil crisis in the 70s as the wake-up call, as you called it. But what should be the wake-up call now for the others?
Yeah. So it's a good question. Also a bit difficult because in Denmark, I mean, as said, you can see both in the political parties, you can see it in society. Our last election, seven out of 10 people voting, they had green transition and climate as the top priority for why and who they voted for. So in Denmark, it's already institutionalized. It's not we don't have to be woken up. Everybody is woken up. The question is not if there's a climate crisis, it's what to do about it. And I think it's the cases in many countries, but I think it's not about do we need to do something, but how do we do it in a sustainable and also economically way, but also in a just way. That's a big discussion. How do we ensure just transition so people, they don't lose their jobs in the fossil heavy industries? How do we make sure that people are educated and ready to take on this transition? And how do we make sure that it's not distributed and skewed in a unequal way across the world? So I hope, but I could say not that objective in that I hope that the world has woken up, but what to do about it is the real question now, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And as you mentioned, even though so many people vote according to how the politicians take this topic seriously, you've already mentioned while having the presentation that you still produce really high amounts of waste per capita. Yeah. So there is a question on Slido. The problem is the huge amount of waste we produce. What do you think can help you to change that?
That's also a great question, and actually, as many probably already know, the waste produced is directly linked to your economic status. So the more money you get and the higher welfare you have, the more waste you produce. So I think it's a change of thinking, and what we're seeing in Denmark is that we're trying to have different incentives in order to make people sort their waste. That's one thing, having less waste. But I think there's limited to how much the citizens can do themselves. We need to look at how we design our products. Are they designed to be used again and again? And do we know how to do it in the right way? So I think there's a lot of education, but also the production lines, the value chains, they need to change. So I think that's also one of the things that needs to be done, other than putting all the responsibility at the citizens, because I don't think that they can lift them themselves.
So as you mentioned, it's a problem of how we design things, how we design the product, that we probably think about the technical part of it, but we forget that afterwards we should reuse it, we should recycle the parts, and when they are connected, for example, in a mobile phone, it's usually unrecyclable because we cannot reconnect them. So I guess it all needs the complex rethinking of how we design things.
Yeah. Especially that's definitely right. So just changing the design cycles and business cases, but also ensuring that we have the right data and transparency and know how to do this, because you might want to produce a really circular product and want to have, for instance, plastic, recycled or upcycled plastic, but we need to make sure that you have enough plastic to have that value chain, and that you also may be able to have your waste sold to another value chain. So connecting those value chains, I think we need to make sure that they are able to do that. And before having a product that's made out of recycled plastic, you need to have the plastic recycled and sorted in a waste chain. So it's a big and complex system that I'm not sure I have all the answers to, but definitely it's a larger paradigm shift in how we think about the design processes as well.
Definitely. I've read that the waste should be considered as a design flow. So meaning we design products in a manner that make it possible to split up and recycle every small part of it. So probably that's the main change of thinking.
Yeah, I agree. And also just the fact, sorry for interrupting, but just saying, if we look at these products, I think it's also very much about education. Some products are meant to be reused again, but maybe the consumers don't know that they can reuse it. And I think also legislation is important here. I mean, the EU has banned single-use plastic, and that's forcing also both the citizens and the private sector to develop solutions that's different, because we cannot have single-use plastic. What is the new solutions that we should have instead then? Also pushing them a bit, I think it's probably necessary.
So taking all the citizens into the process of changing our behavior, not implying something from above.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much, Charlotte, for the inspiration and sharing your experience from Denmark. I think we really need to rethink how we behave and change the whole paradigm, change how we design things, change how we use them. So the whole, as you've mentioned, from production to consumption and to the waste treatment. And happy to see how it works in Denmark. And you even didn't mention that you have such a beautiful incineration plant.
Yes.
Just next to Copenhagen, where you can ski, and people just love that place. Here in Czech Republic, we are not really happy when somebody builds something like that, or like an incineration plant next to our house. But in Copenhagen, do you have it any close?
Sorry?
If you have it any close, the incineration plant that is visible from the whole Copenhagen.
Yeah. So what's the question? Sorry? If it's...
No, I was just asking about the incineration plant where you use all the waste and produce the heat and electricity for Copenhagen. That is it's a famous project because there is a ski slope on it and it looks really great. I think even a Czech company works on the glass surrounding of it.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I was just asking if you have it any close, how it is to have it close by, because here in Czech Republic we don't like to have incineration plants close by.
It's basically in the middle of the city, so people are living right next to it. And if you haven't visited it already, and also just it's the Copenhagen in Denmark, and people can ski on it, as you say. But what's unique about it is not only that it's a beautiful building, and they've made a park on the roof of the building of the incineration plant, but the reason why it's possible is because the technical solutions inside, and also the chimney on the plant, make sure that it doesn't smell, the smoke doesn't affect the neighbors, and that's also just the filtering technologies in that the smog is in no way affecting the neighbors. So it's I would say it's rather a good thing that it's that you're able to integrate such an important plant in the city by architecture, and also the technical solutions in the filtering of the smoke, of the incineration of the waste. Yeah, but it's a beautiful place, and I look forward to welcoming you all to Denmark soon, hopefully, so you can also visit.
Yeah, and another nice inspiration.
My sounds good words, so I try to do it without the AirPods. Is it better now? Can you hear me better?
It's a little, no, it's
not
a little
really.
bit off. I think it was better
really.
before,
okay,
actually.
something happened with my connection, but hopefully it will get better soon, or I can try a third version, because Google said and the moderator is so let's try the cable always. I'll try this one.
No.
Weird. Okay.
But we can hear you.
It will get better because they're showing me that the connection is okay and everything should work. So let's hope that you can hear me. Charles, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And now we will go to another important factor, which could be resource revolution, as it was in the 70s with the invention of automated machines that collect empty beverage containers. This was the beginning of Norwegian company TOMRA, and the Vice President for Governmental Affairs at TOMRA Systems, Anna Sapota, is now going to show us we need to rethink what we do, how we behave, and how we consume. Anna, welcome here. I hope you can hear me. I'm sorry for the connection. I'll try to work on that while you have your presentation. So welcome here, and let's listen to how do you want to make it, because you have huge plans to recycle 40% of the post-consumer plastic packaging worldwide by 2030. But also you have some news from a study made in 4 countries that people are not really that easily changeable when it comes to their thinking and behavior.
Good morning. Hello. It's very nice to see you.
I cannot hear you. I'm sorry, I have the microphone muted.
No, I'm already unmuted.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I can
Yes?
hear. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
These online events always are carrying this risk that some technical issues will show up. I hope that now it's better and
yes.
you hear me okay. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for the invitation for today. It has already been inspiring to listen to other speakers, and I'm very happy that I will have a pleasure to share some of our thoughts and experience on circular economy and responsible production and consumption. So let me allow to share my screen. I hope that the presentation is visible now.
It is. We can see it.
Great. So yes. So today I would like to talk to you a bit about the packaging in circular economy and about the consumer behaviors regarding the packaging and the purchases of different products. So I would like to start maybe with I would like to start with the introduction. I would like to say a few words about TOMRA. So yes, we started in 70s with the innovation, which was a machine, reverse vending machines for automated collection of used beverage containers. But now we are providing the optical solution for RVMs, for automated collection of used beverage containers, but also for the sorting activities in waste, food, and mining industry. So we are, of course, very interested in resource revolution. We are very interested in how the situation regarding the resources, regarding the plastic will develop. And we are very fascinated with the idea of circular economy, which we perceive, yes, as an economical opportunity for the market players to develop new ideas, to create new possibilities for future development, but also to find the answer for the lack of resources, which can show up very soon. So let's have a bit of the background. So we live in an age with the highest level of consumption our planet has ever seen. Not only the products we buy, but the packaging they come in. The middle class is growing. Online shopping increases not only the amount of products, but also the amount of packaging in use. And we think that less consciously about our purchases as shopping has become so easy and convenient. So as a result of this consumption, we currently use of 1.5 planets every year. This is unsustainable in the short and long term, and we need to address the issue of declining resources today. So take as an example the average beverage container.
Until recently, society has not thought much about what happens to bottles after we use them. We put them in the trash or recycling and never think about them again. Unfortunately, many of these containers are ending up in our oceans, streets, and landfills. So let's take the example of plastic bottle. Every minute around the world, 1 million of plastic bottles are bought. Less than half of them will be ever collected for recycling. We as TOMRA collect on a yearly basis 40 billion of the containers, and it is only about 2.5% of all the containers sold on a yearly basis. So we see the scale. And due to this fact, we wanted to see if the consumer are ready for a change, right? Here, Charlotte, who was talking before, she said that Denmark people are already woken up and they are ready for the change, aware of what will happen. So we wanted to check a bit similar thing in some societies to see how conscious we are and how ready for rethinking of our approach we are. So we asked Kantar to survey 4 countries, UK, Germany, France, and Norway, and they asked 4,000 people, 1,000 in every country, about their resources and habits. And now I would like to show you a bit the results and also the conclusions we made out of it. So 63% of German respondents stated that they have not changed their personal consumption of resources during the corona crisis. Yes, one important thing which I did not mention. We asked them about this last summer. So during the corona crisis, because we also wanted to see if this situation, the pandemic situation, will be additional trigger. So in Germany, they stated that no. But at the same time, in UK, only 36% of the respondents confirmed that. So it means that almost 70% of people have changed their consumption habit. And what they were resigning from, because this was the main response, we had to resign from some things. Clothing, travel, out of home dining. These 2 last are quite obvious for all of us after 1.5 years of continuous lockdown, right, that it was simply not possible. But 23% of cases, people were resigning also from food purchases. So this is something quite interesting. And 85% of all people believe that it is time to rethink how to handle disposable packaging. And this is something we dig more into. Because more than half of respondents thinks that groceries should be packed in less plastic than they are now, even now in pandemic times. And respectively, 75% of Germans, 72% of UK people, and 71% of French respondents said that they already avoid plastic when they are shopping. So we can see that this 3/4 maybe is already woken up. And at the same time, many people are not prepared to pay more money so that the goods can be produced or packaged more sustainably. In France, 50% of surveyed rejected additional expenditures. In UK, 49%, in Norway, 45%, in Germany, 47%. So more or less half are not ready to pay more. Across all the countries, the older the age group surveyed, the less willingness to pay more. So this is something which is also very important, that even though the society is ready to maybe change the habit, and they are doing so, resigning from plastic packaging, resigning from some maybe convenience of during making their shopping and consumer choices, they are not ready to pay more. So we, being a business, probably have to think how to address this issue, how to produce in more sustainable way, but also how to not transfer the cost of these changes into consumer. And the participants in the study in Germany, France, UK, Norway also seem to see enormous potential, and with an overwhelming majority, 94% of all respondents agreeing that the topic of recycling will become more important in the future, or at least not lose its importance. And this is what was extremely interesting and important for us, that the society see how necessary it is not only to make more responsible choices at the moment when they are starting with the consumption process, but also how it is important then to do something about the waste we produce, right? And a modern recycling infrastructure can help ensure that the potential of recycling becomes reality, because it motivates consumers to actively participate in the cycle. So conscious consumption combined with a high recycling rate. These are, in our opinion, two factors together that can make enormous contribution to the resource revolution that we need for a sustainable future. So what we done as TOMRA, what we have done. Last year, we announced publicly the creation of our circular economy team, and their main goal is to think on how we as TOMRA can contribute to circular economy and how we as company can make the transition, and also to how we can support our clients and the society in this transition, because we also know that it's not one company change, it's not one consumer change, right? It's not one country change. We all have to face the fact that the rethink phase has to be as widespread as possible. And our goal is to help in this transition. And also by doing this, we made this public pledge you have mentioned, that we will collect and recycle 40% of the post-consumer plastic packaging worldwide by 2030. And this is something we would really want to contribute to, especially that now more or less 14% is what is collected and recycled for recycling purpose worldwide. So there is still a very long way to go. Okay, and from my side, this is it. Thank you very much for hearing me and having me here. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer.
There, Anna. Thank you. Thank you very much. I must start with this really ambitious goal you mentioned, that TOMRA wants to collect and recycle 40% globally. So how backup bottles? What's the way? How to change the behavior of people?
I think that there are a lot of tools, and we are sure we will not be alone in realizing this pledge, that we need the support and cooperation with our other stakeholders, other companies, and we are doing so. Last year, we announced a big project with Borealis, who is the plastic producer, where we will work on recycling the materials which are not so easy to recycle, because we also have to admit that this plastic bottle, which I mentioned at the beginning, now it is one of the easiest plastic to collect and easiest plastic to recycle. We have deposit return schemes where we as TOMRA are present in all deposit schemes in the world, and the best of them are reaching 90-93% of the collection rate, meaning, 9 out of 10 bottles put on the market is coming back in Sweden, and soon in other countries. There are the producers like Coca-Cola who are already introducing the plastic bottles made 100% out of recycled material. So this is possible, and it's happening. Much more difficult, and this is something we are trying to concentrate on, are, for example, the foils post-consumer foils, all these small wrappings, which it's not easy to collect, it's not easy to sort out from the waste stream. It's not something we will sort at home. So this is why we think that, the cooperation among the various stakeholders on different moments on how the waste packaging is collected, sorted, and then recycled is necessary. And we try to create the possibilities to work with all these stakeholders.
And as you mentioned, it also differs in different countries, and also the study you've cited mentions that. And there is a question, any explanation why the British are more conscious about their consumption than Germans or Norwegians?
Honestly, my feeling is that it was due to the pandemic, because you have to remember that last summer it was very strong first wave of pandemic in UK, while in other European countries it was still less painful. And the feeling was, or at least our interpretation is, that due to the fact that it was so strong in UK, they had to reduce the consumption. And on the other European market, it was not so visible. Honestly, I'm very curious what would be the answers and the perception now when we have, 1 year experience and various countries had, the second, third wave, which developed totally differently than this first experience in, spring last year. So this is my feeling why there is this difference in consumption, because simply the German market at that point was not so much still triggered by Corona as it was in UK.
Okay, we need time to measure it again and get some longer row of numbers to have the proper study done. According to the study you've mentioned, 85% respondents believe that it is time to rethink how to handle disposable packaging, but are not prepared to pay more money for that. So who will bear the cost?
I think that first of all, this is the question a bit on how we will try to solve the problem. Because I think that this is the question for the companies, try to change their business models and try to change the way how they produce the product, right? Because and it does not need always to be reflected in the price, or in the future it should not be reflected in the price. If we are talking about innovation solution, probably yes, it will be difficult because we will bear a big cost at the beginning. But sometimes it's a question if we really need a packaging for certain product, or if we need so much packaging for the certain product, right? We have this big discussion on EPR, Extended Producers Responsible schemes around Europe, and about the eco-modulation when we talk on how costly it should be to put certain products in certain packaging on the market. And this is something which the producer should rethink, right? How much we have to place the packaging, how necessary it is for a consumer, and how necessary it is for example, protection, because for some products, it's obvious that the packaging is needed primarily for the protection of the product itself. That's why we have to use it, but still there are these schemes of reuse, which are still underdeveloped in Europe. And this doesn't, in my opinion, it does not must mean that it will be more expensive of the consumer. But this is the challenge for us, for business side of the market.
But when I would come back to the consumer side, it kind of shows the gap between the aspiration and reality when it comes to living more sustainably in everyday life. Will this change with the new generation?
Yes. Yes, we see that the general outcome was that the older people are surveyed, the less willingness to pay. However, in the group above 60s, there was a slight change, meaning that they were slightly more willing to pay more. So there is this, we see that usually, and it was also visible in the research, that for this, the most willing to change were younger people in all the aspects. When we were saying, are you ready to resign from the packaging? Are you ready to pay more? Are you ready to change your habits? Usually these younger groups were more willing to change their consumption habits. And I think that it's not rather shocking for everyone. The older we get, usually the more difficult it's to change our habits, right?
So to conclude, what needs to be done to move towards conscious consumption and high recycling rate?
I think that the cooperation must be done, and we have to see global attempts and global cooperation, not only in Germany, not only in Nordics, not only in Europe, but it's a work on towards global goals, because the problem is also global. So, and we have to see how the various stakeholders in the supply chain and in the distribution chain, they start to cooperate to find for the solution which will be acceptable for the consumers, but on the other hand, which will help us to work more sustainably, to live more sustainably.
Anna, thank you very much. That was Anna Sapota. So the conscious consumption combined with a high recycling rate, these two factors together can make an enormous contribution to the resource revolution that we need for a sustainable future, and we need to cooperate on that globally. Thank you very much for that.
Thank
Anna.
you very much.
And now we will look at the production part of the life cycle of a product. As already Anna has mentioned, that it's a high burden of it, of the change is on the producers. So that's what we are going to focus on right now. And I like the idea of the next speaker, who says there is no waste, there is a byproduct. But for that, we need to be innovative and find the right solutions. And company Lavaris found it. And its general manager, George Kara, is going to tell us more. Welcome, George.
Thank you. Hello to everybody.
How to have no waste, but only a byproduct? Tell us.
I think the main important thing that we have to change the way we are looking at the waste. The waste, it's a threat. It's a big threat for the mankind, but it can be also an opportunity. Depends on us which side of the story we are focusing. So in Lavaris, we are trying to focus on the better side of the story, and to get the opportunity and the potential from the waste, offering solutions so as to implement this waste in new production. Shouldn't be in the same product, but we can find a product or other product, or we can improve the quality of this waste to be able to implement it in other products. So this is the idea, and I think what Anna was talking about, cooperation, and it's a global issue. Yes, it's a cooperation, it's a global issue, and that's why we need to look at the issue as a mosaic. It's not only one stone, it's a lot of small stones, and we are going to make a better world like a mosaic, a nice mosaic by our cooperation. This is our idea in Lavaris, and this is what we are trying to do.
And you have a nice presentation where you describe why and how to reset. So you could, if you could share it with us from your screen, that would be great.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, a bit of technical stuff again, but yes,
Nice,
now
okay.
it's going to, so yeah, and just make it full screen so that it's properly visible. When you click on the icon down there to make the presentation full screen, like the presentation mode. Yeah, turn on the presentation mode on PowerPoint. It will make it full screen.
Yeah. Maybe I'll put it in.
Yeah, still the same, but yeah, visible.
Yeah.
If you could make it full screen, then it would be nice. But I think it's on the right, bottom right corner. There is the icon to, yeah, exactly, right next to the, from the left, from the line, from the zoom line, where you see the zoom line, left of it, there is the full screen icon. It's like a screen, showing like a screen with a cross underneath.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. We can go like this because it's probably because I see really small the icon, so I probably I'm not guiding you the right way. Doesn't matter. I think George, we can go like this because we can see it. But you're at the last slide, so we should skip. We should jump right to the.
I think that I will stop sharing for a while, and I will share it again now. And I think that I will share the right one.
Yeah, this technical stuff always makes it really much more difficult to present than on a live.
Can you see the presentation now?
Not yet. Not yet.
So,
but actually, I thought I could probably share the screen from my computer, but no, it's starting. Yeah, we can see the conclusion. So, it's there.
Yeah,
and probably try to double click on the.
So, can you see the full screen now?
Yeah. And on right at the bottom of the slide, there is the 1, 2, 3, 4th icon. Yeah, you were there right down now, next to the 3 dots, left from the 3 dots. Click that one. That should be even better. No, I saw the icon, not the slide, but the picture showing the screen. It would make it full screen. But now we can see what's the next slide, so it's okay as well.
Okay, I'm sorry for the technical issues. I don't have my technique here, so these are something done by my daughter, which is taking care about techniques here in the company.
Yeah, this one, great.
Yeah, so.
Oh no. Well, sorry, doesn't work, doesn't show it full screen. So just click it back. Okay, like this, leave it like this. I don't know why it doesn't work.
I have it like a full screen here. I don't know why it's not there.
Well, I have it like it's very well visible, so we can go on that. We see it with the next slide, which is even good for us.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So this is the way we. It's not a waste; it's a byproduct. This is our idea of making the business, our company mission remains always the same: to offer new innovative solutions for zero waste recycling technology. Why? This is the main important thing. We are asking ourselves every day why we are doing it. Really, we believe on that, and we are trying to do what we are believing. And also, I want to say here that it's a cooperation. We are not alone. There are a lot of companies, institutions in Czech Republic whom we are cooperating with, like the universities, like the Institute of Circular Economy, for example. We are proud to be members of the platform of Circle also, and this is our mosaic which we are going to talk about today. I don't want to talk about statistics or what the definition of waste, because I think that other speakers are better than that on me, but I only mentioned that there is a liquid, solid, organic, and hazardous. We are concentrating in solid waste. The main sources of solid waste can be from industry, industrial, commercial, domestic, and agriculture. We are trying to deal with all these kinds of wastes. Today we are going to talk about the production waste. And the production waste is the waste generated in different industries. Each production has its own specific waste, which with the characteristics which we are facing that waste. Also, the waste management of the solid waste is very variable according to the industry, the place, the location, the state, and this is something we are trying to solve with our partner locally and internationally. Waste versus byproducts. I mentioned that we are looking at the waste as a byproduct and not like a waste. The byproduct is significant that it has a low value relative to the product or the co-product, and this is our task always to make the byproduct suitable for other use by improving the byproduct's properties to increase its value, or using byproducts as an input to different product. We shouldn't use the waste always to the same product. Or we are studying the weakness, disadvantages of the byproduct and turning it to advantage. We may need maybe another components or another technologies, but always we are trying to do that. Now coming to recycling. The recycling, what we are doing is a little bit different, but we are looking at the recycling that it's a production process that produces waste also. And we are trying to make a zero waste recycling technology. How we are we are working by consultation, then we are starting our research together with the research institutes, mainly the universities like Czech Technical University, the Chemical University of Prague, the Czech University of Life Science. We are main partners of them, and we are proud to be partners to solve a lot of projects with them. Then we are starting to design the solution. We construct it, and we are delivering it to our main customer. Our services, as I say, a research center, design, consultancy, and also when we are delivering solutions, we have the warranty services. We solve several projects, and we have several awards, like the Visionary of the Year of Czech Republic in 2019. The best product from reusable material 2019, like a production company, and another award for our project with the university, with the Czech Technical University, also in the 2019. 2018 we had also the third place for the best product from reusable. These are our main partners, which we are proud to work with. And I want to show you our experience, making it clear that we don't want to tell the people what they should do. We will show them how we are doing it. And if we can convince them, we can be partner in these solutions. I will represent here 3 types of solutions we did. Changing the waste to byproduct, the tire recycling or end-of-life tires and rubber industry. It's a case we solved here in Czech Republic. We have a mining and stone industry because the construction waste is one of the biggest part of waste and you can find everywhere, and we solve it internationally in the West Bank of Palestine. And construction and demolition waste, we started a project in Syria to help them to rebuild Syria again. Now, the first project, the end-of-life tires, a lot of companies are recycling tires and they are getting the rubber and the metal. They are valuable commodities that are selling it well. But the final challenge is the recycling the fibers from that process. The main important thing that the fiber is contaminated with rubber. That 50% of the amount they are throwing includes rubber. So we developed a special technology that we are separating the rubber from the fibers, and then we are proceeding the rubber. More than 90% of the 50% of the rubber are separated there, and the rest it remains in the fibers. Then we are separating the fibers from the others, and each part we are using in different industry. Now we are running a research with a very international company how to use the fibers and to recycle them, because it's polyester or polyamide or cellulose fibers, which they are very important in the market and can be reused in the tire industry. The other example, I will take it from Palestine, because Palestine is the producer of stone. Limestones, 4% of the limestone produced in the world are coming from the West Bank of Jordan, Palestine, and they are producing and exporting. They are facing a trouble that there is no more water in the area, and they are recycling, because in the stone industry there are systems who allows the proper reuse of water by draining the water and separating stone sludge. This small area of the world is producing more than 500,000 tons a year of sludge, of stone sludge. We did research in Palestine because it was a project financed by the USAID and UNDP. And we cooperate with them to analyze the sludge there, and we find that it's pure calcium that can be used as a calcium carbonate, which is wanted as a filler in all industries, almost. In parallel, we started a cooperation with the Czech Technical University, and this material was a subject of a few years of research. Results were a unique by creating a new construction system using the maximum possible ratio of recycled material, such as bed joint mortar, plaster, masonry blocks, and lightweight blocks. And these lightweight blocks was the product which won the award in 2019, like a university project. Then we can talk about our experience in Syria in construction and demolition waste after the war there, which unfortunately is still. We started by recycling concrete, and the recycling concrete is usually used for backfill, landscaping, or aggregates to new concrete. during the recycling for concrete occurs a problem with the processing of the very fine fraction, which is less than 1 millimeter. Nobody likes it. So we start to study it, and we apply our high-speed milling system to that, and we produce active concrete powder. Active stone and concrete powder, because in Syria they are using limestone, like aggregates. We are calling the project as active stones and concrete powder. And that powder appeals like high quality secondary raw materials with active surface, availability of sources, because there is a lot of demolitions there, unfortunately, replacement of filler in cement mixtures, improving the processes of mixture, hydration, temperature reduction, reducing manufacturing costs. And this is very important when we are talking about an area which is totally destroyed and they want to rebuild it with reasonable money.
George, I'm really sorry to interrupt you, but as we are limited with the time, and
I'm finishing. This is all. This is what we do. These are part of the products we are using in Syria, using the recycled material and that. The conclusion that we want to come that innovative technology and system with zero waste technology can be the solution. Don't see the waste as a threat. See it as a byproduct, and it's the halfway to solve it. And we can help with that. Thank you.
Thank you. And I thank you. And I start with a question from Martin from Slido. What is the quality and price of a recycled material, either rubber or building material?
Yeah, the quality depends on the type of the recycled material. But for example, in the rubber recycling, we were able to achieve a very good result by reducing the cost and obtaining the same quality of the active rubber powder, which we are using to do some products. One of the products is the rubber mat, which wins also in the 2019 the first prize, like the best product from renewable material. About the calcium carbonate from the sludge, they are facing a lot of environmental problems from that sludge. But the price of the calcium carbonate starts from 200 euros per ton when it is pure like that one. So we are exchanging and changing the threat to a material that can makes money. For the construction waste, they have troubles with the very fine material from the crushing. They don't want to. They don't know what to do with it, and it causes a very big trouble for the nature. We are activating it to powder. We are using it as a replacement of the cement that will reduce the cost. We are reducing the cost of transportation. That means that the carbon footprint of that product is lower, and the price is lower, creating jobs in that area because they are doing these products locally, and they are happy by paying less money than they would pay.
So a byproduct is an output that is not a base, but has low value relative to the product or co-product. And our goal should be to improve byproduct characteristics to increase its value. And of course, create as little waste through that process as possible. George, thank you very much for your advices. Thank you. And now from production, we move to distribution, and where there lies bigger challenge than in beverage industry that is highly dependent on plastic packaging. And we've already heard about the troubles with recycling it. That's why the organizers have invited Lukáš Zapletal, Public Affairs Communication, Sustainability, Legal and Security Director at Coca-Cola Czechia and Slovakia. Lukáš, welcome here. And please describe us Sustainable Coke.
Good morning from my side as well, and thank you very much for kind invitation. I will share my screen. Yes. If I may ask George to stop sharing his.
George, please, could you? Yeah, great. I think now George stopped sharing his screen, so you can do that.
Okay, I hope it will be working.
Yes, it's working. Well. It's working.
And do you see it in the presentation mode now?
No, it's we still need to make it full screen. It's in the PowerPoint. Yes, that's right now. It works.
Super. Perfect. Thank you very much once again. I'm super happy to be here on behalf of Coca-Cola HBC, Czech Republic and Slovakia. And thank you, Michala. As you said, I'm responsible also for sustainability, which in our case is extremely important area. I would like to start with the mindset, if I may, and like my learnings from Coke system. First of all, I would like to share information which might not be as well known, but the Coca-Cola Hellenic, it's of course part of a Dow Jones Sustainability Index, and it's a global #1. So in the beverage industry, really the Coke is leading and making the progress also for the others. We have been globally #1 in last year 3 times in the Europe, like 7 times in the row, if I'm not mistaken. So I dare to say it's showing how seriously we take this topic. I have my 2 personal learnings from that or feeling when I really got that Coke take it 100%. And one was when the CEO, Zoran Bogdanovic, who is responsible for 28 countries in Coca-Cola Hellenic, changed structure of his team and then explained to the whole population, I did it because I wanted to have more time for people agenda and sustainability. Really like limiting his purely commercial exposure just for being involved in topic like sustainability. And it resonates within the company. And my very personal and practical thing, which is related to the business plans, and I believe there are many other companies which already started to preparing the business plans for 2022. In our case, it was always commercial, starting with the presentations to the boards and then going the other departments. Since last year, we changed, and the presentation #1 in the order is sustainability. So even before the commercial. And you may see or you may feel that this is really making the impact and also changing the priorities within the mindset of the people. So this is how the Coke take it from this, I would say, mindset perspective. And I would be happy to share 3 areas which are a link to the production and the distribution, and with the 3 examples for each of them. And I will start with my favorite one. It's a water and the wetland. Wetland Mokřad, something which I always associated with the Lord of the Rings, etc., but not really with the production facilities. But we decided now, and you can see the picture of our Prague plant, when we are changing and actually increasing the production and capacity here in Kiev, that we will not go the ordinary way with the concrete basin and some sewers, etc. But we involved the professionals from the very beginning, and we set up the wetland, Mokřad, really more than 3 hectares in our property, when the rainwater will be naturally returned back to the nature, and also helping with the microclimate and the temperature also in this area. And I would like to use this as an example of how I believe we should be working and thinking internally. It's green solution and it's fantastic. So it's ecological, but many times these green solutions are associated like it's more expensive, it's more difficult, it's complicated, etc. It's not necessarily the case. And in this particular one, by the fact that we have invited the people from the very beginning, we call it sustainability by design, that for all big decisions, the sustainability people must be involved from the stage 1. We involved dendrologists and the others. So this solution, not only being ecological, but it's cheaper. it's even economical, and that's also something which board would like to hear, of course, let's be fair. So this kind of the thinking and making these changes to both economy but also ecology is the way we would like to use it, and that's why I'm super happy that this wetland example is resonating not only in the Czech Republic but across our Coca-Cola system globally as well. The second aspect of the water which I would like to mention is like usage of the water for preparation or production of the beverages, and we are lowering it again, and we are now at 1.61 liter per beverage. It may sound, a bit higher. When I saw it first time, I was also like thinking why it's more than, why it's not 1 to 1. But of course, the water is being used for the heating, etc., etc. Heating, for cooling, etc. And when we compare it with our old machinery, like 15 years ago, we really cut it by half. So it's important progress. And the third topic I would like to mention about water is related to our second factory production, which is in Bromov region in Teplice. And there, for example, we are supporting the analysis of the water system or river system and how it has an impact on the local climate. So that are the three things, examples from the water. Then, of course, that wouldn't be any sustainability presentation and discussions about Coke without talking about packaging. Here, what I really liked was recent advertising. I think it was in Spain with a big billboards. Don't buy Coke if you don't mean to recycle. And that's the mindset, because there are two very close terms, and one is recyclable and recycled. So all our products are prepared to be fully recyclable. So 100% of you buy from us, if you follow your conscious and the right rules, it can be used again in the circularity and recycling process. We also started with the rPET, with recycled PET, which means that, for example, this Natura bottle is done fully 100% from the plastics which were already used in past. And Natura water, for example, in Slovakia, we do it for the Remark well. So the scope of this 100% rPET bottles is increasing in our portfolio. It's also linked to, of course, to obligations which are coming for the European Union, etc. And it's our public promise to have the rPET, this recycled PET, in our products 50% by 2025, which is actually higher than just the legislation requirement. So we are again going above the threshold. And the third topic which I would like to mention is that also we have been thinking how to, in practical terms, ensure limitation of using the plastics, and we found out how to enlighten our bottles, and we were able over the year save 650 tons of the waste. And when I have been trying to explain to our internal population, to our employees, how big it is, and I try to manage it by elephants, then I realized that I need to split between the African elephants and Indian, as per the average size and the weight. But yeah, it's 100 of elephants in Africa and 144 in India. And I believe that this is already something tangible. And you can see that really this was the way, just by redesign of the bottle, how we were able to contribute to this topic. And the third area I wanted to mention is related to delivery, to logistics. And here we are really changing our trucks, and of course we are very much focused on the CO2. So we are moving to the hybrids. We are changing also our fleet for our business developers. And it's fair to say, of course, Coca-Cola with its sales force, has one of the biggest fleets in the Czech Republic. So we have already, I think, 40-50 new cars, really eco-friendly. And the third area which we really focused on, and we believe it has a huge impact, are our coolers. And we have tens of thousands, coolers on the market just in the Czech Republic. and by finding the new ones, which are more than 50% more efficient in terms of CO2, compared to the ones which we had in past, we were able to save another more than 70 tons of the CO2. So we try to focus on all important elements of the production, which we really see as a water, as a packaging, as a delivery, and these are some of the examples we are moving forward. We are also happy that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, you continue. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's just the last slide, just a short summary that we are really proud that we are making this change. That company took this mindset, that also internal people, engagement of the internal people is here, but also the external world see it. And if you would like to see it more, we just, I think yesterday, published our official sustainability report in the completely new way, online, interactive, and my team is super excited, and myself as well. So you see the QR code, and if you would like to just check it and see more what we are doing, please go ahead.
Thank you. And that's what I just wanted to ask about. What started to move towards sustainability in Coke?
Sorry, I probably.
What started to move towards sustainability in Coca-Cola?
Well, the world is changing, and we see that we would like to do the right things. That's where I think that the Coke system is very much about its values, but also it's a business opportunity. So both areas, and we are, how to say, encouraging our people. We have something which is called innovation for growth approach, where every single employee can come with some idea. And in past, it was many times about efficiency of the processes and so on and so forth. Now, also internal people are very much coming with, okay, what about to make this green, and how we can, challenge this. And really, this balance is going much more to the sustainability. So we see it as the right thing. We see it's engaging our people, and it's right also for the external world.
And also probably that's why the Coca-Cola is one of the companies that wants to achieve 100% recyclability of its packaging by 2025. So 5 years earlier than the European Commission plan, that's what you mentioned. Why such hurry?
Yeah, well, we would like to be pioneers. Generally speaking, we believe that the sustainability is such an important topic from many aspects that we would be the ones, to make the way, and by the size of the system, we have a really big impact, and we believe that we can help in this respect.
Definitely, we need the big players to move forward and inspire the others. But I think it must be quite difficult to achieve that in the Czech Republic. I don't know about the other countries, but here in the Czech Republic, if I'm not mistaken, we have insufficient recycling capacities for rPET material. So it makes it really complicated and even more expensive, and also travel demanding or transport demanding to get the rPET. So how do you want to achieve that target in the Czech Republic?
That's very fair comment, and fully agree. This is one of the most difficult questions or issue we are now dealing with. We have the dedicated team on the group level who is really working hard on this one. I do not have a silver bullet now in my head or solution I can offer. What I may say that we make this promise, we will keep it, we will manage. That's a huge effort in the thinking just now about that. So I don't have the solution now, but surely have resources on all the levels to do so.
Well, I guess then the sustainability plan of Coca-Cola differs in different countries because of the different situations.
You're right. Yeah. But generally speaking, it's more difficult, the Coke system with the Coca-Cola company Atlanta and its bottlers. But as I tried to show at the beginning, really the Coca-Cola Hellenic bottler, it's the one who is #1 in the world. So we really do our best to help.
How difficult it is to collect bottles? Do you plan to make some backup system as it is in Slovakia, or it wouldn't work in Czech Republic? Why? What are the differences?
Thank you for these questions, and all of them are extremely relevant and very fair, and exactly the ones which are now resonating internally the most. We are involved in the Slovak deposit system, and we believe that we will have a lot of learning from that. We are part of the consortium as a Coca-Cola there directly for the Czech Republic, and we actually mentioned it publicly just recently. We will come with our proposal by the Q4 this year at the latest. We are in intensive evaluation of currently existing system of Ecocom, which we helped to co-design many years ago, and we take a part of that. We are shareholders of the Ecocom, but with the tight and clear goals from the European Union, we are very deeply exploring also the alternative solutions, including the deposits. That's something which will have a huge impact on the Coke system. That's why we take it so seriously. And I do not have the answer now, but what I know that the answer will be by Q4, absolutely.
Thank you very much. So everything being produced should become a new source again. That is the way of Coca-Cola to sustainability. And even though some targets are really difficult to reach, there are the right people in the right places necessary to solve that problem. So we are keeping our fingers crossed for you to solve all those troubles. And thank you for being with us, Lukáš.
Thank you very much indeed. And to all, have a nice day. Bye-bye.
You too. So now we will move to consumption, because production obviously is very much connected to the consumption behavior, and we've already talked about it concerning packaging. But another topic, another sector where we could waste less is clothing or textiles as such. And Mikuláš Hurta, CEO at Milmore, will show us limits of sustainable fashion. Mikuláš, the stage is yours, and I'm very much interested in hearing how it is with sustainability of textile when we now buy a sustainable blazer or dress. You say it's not really sustainable as such. So tell us what we should do to be really sustainable.
Hello, everybody. First of all, can you see the presentation? Everything okay?
Everything okay. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, I will just minimize the Zoom here. Okay, hello everybody. My name is Mikuláš Hurta. I'm CEO of Milmore, the world's first circular clothing brand. And I would like to welcome you on this presentation on topic which is called Sustainable Fashion is Not Enough Anymore. At the moment, there is every second there is 3 million liters of water consumed due to production of the clothing. There is 38,000 kgs of CO2 emissions released to the environment due to production of the clothing. And there is also about 10,000 pieces of garments ended on landfill every second. That's the current state of the impacts of clothing industry. And if we would like to really face global issues as global warming or biodiversity loss or water scarcity, it's conditioned by change of the textile industry. At the moment, we are somewhere here. Yeah, on the vertical line, you can see the state of our planet, and on the horizontal one, you can see the time. So by some time, we really damage our planet by conventional production, not only in the fashion, but also in the other industries. And what's happening in fashion now? It's something like this. Yeah? We are calling a lot of products as sustainable, but it's just slowing down the decreasing of the damage. And where we need to be at the moment is somewhere here. Yeah, and that's the sustainability. But the second question is, is it our goal? Do we want to just be sustainable with some very low state of our environment, or do we want to do something like this? So now it's the right time to speak about the sustainability and also speak about some regenerative trend in the fashion. The regenerative trend at the moment is presented by the circularity, but because the full circularity could bring new level of the regeneration of our environment. At the moment, there is like climate-friendly, ecological, green, sustainable, bio, eco-friendly, etc., etc. I'm sorry. The question which we should take is, what does it mean? What is the sustainability? On this slide, we can see 3 products. Yeah, and if we know, for example, the carbon footprint of these products, let's say 4 kgs for the chair, 3 kgs of the CO2 for laptop, 7 kgs for the t-shirt, maybe that's the first step. The second question is it sustainable or not? Maybe the answer can be that 4 kgs for chair can be sustainable in some way, but maybe 3 kgs of CO2 emissions for laptop, maybe that's not sustainable. Yeah. And that's the question which we should take, which we should ask ourselves in the companies and measure them, and then be sure that we are really make things in the good way, in the good manner. So the sustainability, the most important 3 aspects should be the sustainability should be measurable. Yeah, the most complex methodic of measuring of sustainability is life cycle assessment, LCA. For example, in fashion, there is also a Higg index and some other indexes. So it's very important to work with these data and measure it. The second thing is that it should be science-based, because at the moment already we can see a couple of LCA studies which are not in cooperation with universities and so on, and are not so exact as should be. So science-based in the sustainability is very important, the connection with university, with experts and so on. And the last thing, it's transparency and simple communication to customers. It's much easier just to make a green label, put it on the t-shirt, and that's it. I agree, from marketing point of view, it works and it's easier. But now we should look for ways how to communicate this, let's say, exact data which are not so friendly for customers in some simple way, which is understandable for them. So it was about sustainability. Now the very similar situation is with circularity. Yeah? We can see claims as reused, recyclable, circularity, circular economy, waste-free, and so on. Again, the question is, what is the circularity? Because okay, everybody, we understand that we have some linear economy system. In the fashion, it's mainly the fast fashion system, and we have some source which ended in the waste. And then we have the recycling loop, let's say. It depends how many recycling loops we have, but for example, there is, I don't know, old t-shirts, and we make cloths for the industrial cleaning and so on. And we are calling it circularity. It's not circularity, it's just one recycling loop. And again, there is waste created. So a lot of models of sustainable fashion at the moment are just some recycling loops, some upcycling, downcycling. It depends. If we want to really switch to the regenerative fashion, to the circular fashion, it's necessary to find models which are really circular. It means that we put the material in the system once and just keep it in the system again and again. There are already some models like this in the fashion. It's, for example, Econil from Aquafil company. It's circular nylon. Anyway, the nylon application in fashion, it's more for swimwear, or now they are mainly focusing on the carpets and so on. In other words, we are still searching for some material which really can be circular in the clothing system. So very important for circularity is the closed loop. Then we need to be very transparent that recycled, downcycled, or upcycled is not circular, and we should communicate it very clearly. And also circularity means that there is no waste, and no waste in the end, and no source in the beginning. So we made also at the Nilmor, we made some research, and we found out that 70% of the customers are aware about the issues of the fashion industry and want to support the change. 75 of them miss sustainable products or information about them on the market, and almost all of them don't want to reduce their consumption, which is a very problematic area, because most of the sustainable concepts at the moment aiming or creating pressure to customers to reduce the consumption, because their models are not circular and consumpted new sources. So now I will just quickly speak how we approach it at the Nilmor. We have created fully circular clothing. It means that after the wearing, you can return it to us, and we 100% of the clothing we recycle into and produce from the recycling new products. To achieve it, it was necessary to develop new textile material, because with the material like linen or cotton, unfortunately, it's not possible. You can recycle them, but you can add just 20% of the recyclate to the new source, because the properties of the recyclate is very bad. On polyester, for example, it's very difficult, because I don't want to into the details into the chemistry, but from the chemistry point of view, there are a lot of projects on the world which try to recycle polyester clothing, but it's still in development, and it's very hard for energy consumption and so on. Therefore, we focused on new material. It's PLA. PLA is well known in other industries, and it was from ecological point of view, it was promoted as biodegradable and so on. But the biggest potential, ecological potential of this material, and is in its circularity, in its recycling, because its recycling is very easy. It's the only biopolymer which breaks down on to the homogenic molecule. So the recycling is much easier than, for example, on other types of the material. On this table, we have some properties, some feature of our material. It's fully circular. We have achieved the lowest LCA impact from all textile materials based on LCA study which we done together with Technical University of Brno and Liberec. From some other properties, material has very high thermal conductivity, so it's comfortable in hot and cold conditions, because it's creating cooling or warming effect. It's very similar, for example, as merino wool. You can see on the table on the right top corner that our thermal conductivity is even twice better than wool. Also, the material is light, soft, and with high moisture transport, so it works with fitting very well. It's also anti-allergic and non-toxic. Here you can see some pictures. For example, on the left picture, you can see the red cardigan from our material, the white t-shirt from our material, and the scalability of the material is very wide, so we are able to do also some sport application, some back application, and also we are focusing on some technical application, for example, for automotive industry, medical industry, and others. Here are some pictures from production. Maybe for you it could be interesting to see the recycling reactor on the right. It's just the laboratory version. In the industrial version, it's very similar, just much, much bigger. Based on the LCA study, the water consumption for one our t-shirt is 50 times lower than conventional cotton t-shirt. Also, the CO2 footprint is 17 times lower, and we aim to not create any waste because we are in charge of all of a whole circular concept. I will explain here. We are creating the first possibility for the customers is send the used clothes to us by free. The second possibility is we are creating the physical points. It's called near more circular points. At the moment, we have about 12 these points in the Czech Republic and Slovak Republic, and we aim to have it 50 by the end of this year, and then we would like to extend this net as much as possible. It's also marketing tool for the stores because the more circular points are mainly, for example, stores with sustainable fashion, and for them it's very nice that some other customers of other brands visit their stores to return the clothing from our material. So it's possible to work it also on the marketing level with this. Okay, some of our partners I've already mentioned, the Brno University of the Technology and Technical University of Liberec, and we are also in joint venture with Frusak company. Just a little bit about our journey. We have started our journey in 2018, and we spent first year by R&D activities. The last year we have created prototypes and validated them, and we have already done the launch on the B2B market. So at the moment we are already offering our solution for other brands. We are able to make fabrics or make final garments for the other brands. So we are generating the first incomes, and at the moment we are a couple of months before launch of our own collection and other expansion. Just the last words about this slide. I think that it's very important to be still in a journey, not be satisfied where we are now, and still look to the future to do it better, how to improve it. Still be focused on the research and development. So we are still doing a lot of activities with the universities in the scalability, for example, now we are 50 times better in the water consumption. We would like to be much better because we see, for example, potential in the dyeing without water and projects like this. So I think it's very important not be satisfied never with the current status, but be still in some journey to be better day by day. Okay, that's all from my side. At the moment, we are already running the social medias profile. So if you want to check it in more deeper, for example, you can check it on our Instagram. We are taking there all the issues step by step. There is also the first description is in Czech, but in the bottom you can find always also in the English. So yeah, that's it from my side. I will be glad if there is any question or something. Thank you.
There are, Nicholas. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And there's a question because you said no source, but there has to be something at the beginning. What?
Sorry, can you repeat?
You said no source, no waste, but there has to be something at the beginning. What is the something at the beginning?
Yes, that's true. Always the circularity starts that you need to pump the material into the system, and then you can keep it there. In case of our material, the PLA is usually made from renewable sources as corn or sugarcane. So in the beginning, you need to pump it there. But for example, recycling of the PLA is already working, for example, on the foils and other products out of the textile industry. So we now at the moment we are already making the products from the recyclate. But anyway, for the first trials and so on, it was necessary to use the standard source and then just keep it in the system.
Sorry to ask, but how stable or how durable is a sugarcane or corn when it comes to clothes that you have to wash? Sometimes you are outside in the rain and so on.
Yeah, the durability is even better than cotton. So at the moment we have tested our fabrics for 50 washing cycles, for example, without any change of the quality. You can wash it in the normal conditions in the washing machine on 40 degrees. So even, for example, the drying properties, it dries much faster, 3 times faster than cotton. I think that twice faster than polyester, for example. So also this, like say, environmental aspect, that it's not needed to put it into drying machine. You can just pull it over the line and it can dries very fast. So from the maintenance point of view, it's very customer friendly, let's say.
You've already mentioned what Charlotte and Anna was saying here at the beginning. A serious approach to the base program should ideally involve redefining the way we design, distribute, and consume products. How we need to change all this when it comes to fashion?
Is my understanding well that you are asking for the design, right?
Well, it needs the holistic approach, not only how we produce it, but also how we use, how we, the whole production, how we distribute. So really the whole cycle of the product. Is it any special? You mentioned you are creating the collecting points for the clothes. That's one point that makes it really different from the other fashion shop.
Yeah, I think that this is very important because at the moment it needs to start from the brands. Yeah, as we are in charge of whole the cycle, and anyway, the other brands, we need to do it like this. We need to build the system from the bottom. Yeah. Once now there is some Nilmor who is in charge of the whole system, then it will be another brand, and if we will be in charge of the collecting and all these activities leading to the circularity, then it's possible, for example, outsource some of these activities to some, for example, waste collecting companies. Yeah. Because then the amount will be reasonable for them, and also the collecting systems and everything will be already in place. So from economical point of view, it will be okay for them, for example, put bins in the streets and collect the textile and work with textile in some form. But it has to begin from the brands.
Thank you, Mikołaj. So sustainable is not enough. We have to be able to create a closed loop, no waste, no source. Customers want to change but don't want to reduce their consumption. That means that the business opportunity for Mikołaj Hurta with Nilmor is changing the opportunity into reality. So thank you and good luck with everything you are doing. Responsible production and consumption can be reality, just a will has to come in place. That's what we've heard, and the innovations in personal belief and cooperation are necessary. We have to become conscious consumers, and producers have to rethink the way they design things. That's when that all is done, it nicely fits all together and makes our world better, hopefully. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for asking, and I'm looking forward to meet at another sustainable business and circular economy discussion. Have a nice day.